Hi guys, and welcome to episode 13 of Auntie Danny Knits. Today is Monday, September 25th, and I'm recording a day later than I had expected because I was at a retreat this past weekend and it was amazing. I spent my weekend at the 4th annual Into the Wool Fiber Retreat in Crossville, Tennessee, and it was amazing. So I'm actually going to start out the show with a couple of clips that I recorded this weekend, just short little ones, and I'll see you in a minute. Hi guys. There are goats. There are so many goats. Well, there are 4, but they're adorable. If you get tired of knitting, you can come watch goats play. Because they're adorable. Hi guys. So I'm at the Into the Wool Fiber Retreat right now. Said a little bit earlier this morning, showed you the goats, and I thought I'd show you a little bit of what I'm working on right now. I've been working on the newborn vertebrae sweater, and I'll put all the details about the designer and whatnot in my show notes. But I'm working on it with some Premier Yarns wool-free sock stripes in the farm stand colorway. I've finished the body, just cast off the hem. So next I'll be picking up the sleeves, and then I've got the front ribbing to go. So I'm making some pretty good progress on this, which is good because I have to finish it for a baby shower in about 2 weeks. So I should have that done by the time I'm done with the retreat, and that right now is living in my Silver Shed USA bag. And this was from the Stockinette Zombies birthday kit a couple years ago. The other thing I've been working on at the retreat so far is my Eclipse socks. I'm still on the first sock, but I was only about here last time, so I've done some more work, and it's currently living in this lovely needle minder from Whimsy Stitches. Oops, that way. And that was part of our goodie bags. Pretty excited about that. This is my first time using a stitch mind or a needle minder, and it is wonderful. Even though I'm using, I'm not using DPNs, I'm using a really long circular needle. It's great. I can keep all the cable contained. I spent the first like 20 minutes of working on this at the retreat untangling the yarn from itself, so this has made it so much easier to just tuck in my project bag and go. And it's living in a little project bag that I won a while back. It doesn't have a designer name, but that's what I've been working on so far at the retreat. Alright, so today's show is going to be a little bit different than usual. I do have a couple of finished objects to show you and talk to you about, and a couple of works in progress, and then I'm going to talk a lot about the retreat. So let's get started with what I've finished. First thing off my needles is my hurricane sweater. So last episode, you heard about how we got some effects from Hurricane Irma. We had a tropical storm and we lost power, and I decided that I was going to knit a sweater and call it my hurricane sweater. So I finished it. Oops, of course you're seeing the inside and some of the ends that are not trimmed super short, but this is my hurricane sweater, and I've got much better pictures on Ravelry and Instagram of it modeled. Can't really, my setup is not right for modeling things here on me. But this is the Easy All Year Cardigan by Tyga Hilliard. I knit it in Premier Yarn Deborah Norville Everyday Worsted Heathers in the color Charcoal Heather, which is a worsted weight. I used pretty much exactly 4 skeins, so that was 720-ish yards and 400 grams. I started it on Monday the 11th when our power went out, or just before the power went out, and I finished it on Thursday the 14th, which was before I had power back at work. So yeah, this was what I worked on in the hurricane, in the tropical storm, in the dark. And it's just a very simple top-down raglan. I really like the seed stitch detail for the neckband and the wrists and the hem. Not that you can tell which parts I'm showing you because it's all one big dark blob. I realized after the sunset on Monday that maybe picking charcoal colored yarn for my hurricane sweater to be knitting in a blackout wasn't the best plan. So I knit dark yarn by candlelight. Yeah, maybe not my most brilliant plan ever, but the pattern was super easy. It wasn't like I was having to look at my stitches and count them and do complicated cables or anything. It's just straight stockinette for most of the sweater. So I was able to work on that even by candlelight, and yeah, I finished it in like 4 days. But that's only because when there was no power, there was nothing else to do. So I am very grateful that I have an analog hobby. A lot of people I know all have digital hobbies, and if the computer doesn't work and the TV doesn't work, they run out of things to do really quickly and sit around feeling kind of bored. And I had my sweater turned on, so I knit and knit and knit and finished a sweater in 4 days, and I'm really pleased with it. It is super comfy. I wore it to the retreat this past weekend, and I got my finished object pictures taken there, actually outside of the cabin where I was staying. So that was fun. My second finished object I started fairly recently. I actually started it at the retreat. I started it on Friday morning, I believe. No, Thursday evening. After we got there, I cast it on and I worked on that through the evening after dinner, and I finished it. So this is a baby vertebrae sweater by Kelly Van Nykirk, and it is adorable. I knit the 40 centimeter size, so it's one size up from newborn. This is still for very small baby, but this is for a baby shower that I'll be going to in just a couple weeks, so I was really pleased that I got it finished. I used wool-free Premier Yarns wool-free sock stripes in the color Farm Stand. So it's super bright. I really love the colors. I love using this yarn. I used it for a lot of my NICU noggins that I'd been knitting. It's soft, but it's a very round yarn, so it actually has very nice stitch definition. It's just nice. And it is acrylic, so it is machine washable and tumble dry, which is wonderful for a new mom. And if you've been looking at knitting patterns or watching podcasts or anything for a while, you know that one of the benefits of the vertebrae sweaters, whether it's the newborn vertebrae or the baby vertebrae or the mama vertebrae, is that it doesn't come together in the front, which is great on baby things because it keeps the front wide open so that when the baby inevitably spits up or drools or whatever, you know, the little onesie underneath gets dirty, but the sweater doesn't, so you don't have to constantly be washing a hand knit. So yeah, I finished this. I think I did a pretty good job of matching up the stripes on the arms. I used just over 1 full skein for this. And a lot of that was because I had to break into the second skein to match up the stripes on the arms, but I knew that it would bother me if I didn't, so that's why I did that. And I knew that going in, which is why I got 2 skeins of yarn. It calls for, I believe, 200 yards, and the yarn has, somewhere it tells me, 235 yards. I haven't weighed the sweater yet. I'll get all the details saved on my Ravelry page tonight after I get it washed and blocking. The ends are woven in, but it hasn't been washed and dried yet. I probably won't actually block it. I'll wash it and throw it in the dryer and then fold it up neatly. Again, this is going to be a baby gift, and I think what I'm going to do is use my leftover yarns to make a matching little hat. And my other FO, I don't actually have anymore. I'll show you a picture here. And that is my NICU noggins. I took them to Into the Wool to donate, and I am super happy with how that turned out. I ended up knitting 105 NICU noggins. Oh my goodness, guys, that was a lot of baby hats. And I've talked about them before, so I'm not going to talk about them a whole lot now. Just that I knit a whole lot of them, and it was great because they ended up being able to donate, I think it was 876 hats to the NICU at the hospital that they were aiming to donate to. And so that is awesome. That's almost 900 babies that are going to have heads covered in warm, fuzzy love. And I think that's wonderful. So I'm really pleased that I was able to make a contribution to that, and that the group as a whole really stepped up and was able to give a lot of love to these little babies. So what else am I working on? Well, at the retreat, I was also working on a pair of socks. They're my Eclipse socks, and I finished one, so I have a hoe. Don't mind all the stitch markers. I got tired of counting. I know how many rows I want to put in before my heel, so I keep track, and this is just a stitch marker every 10 rows so that I know where I am, and to make sure that I'm getting where I need to be with my sock and making sure that it will match its partner. But this is my first Eclipse sock. I started knitting it on, I believe it was August 21st. Yes, the day of the total eclipse. Even though I didn't see a total eclipse in my area, I only got a partial eclipse, a 95% eclipse. It was still really cool. And so I've got the sun and the darkness, and then the sun comes back. The yellow is a Frog Tree Petaboo sock from, years ago, just after I moved to where I am now. So it's an older stash yarn, and I've used it in several projects, and I think this is going to be the last of it. I'm almost out. And then the black is more Premier Yarns. This is just the Premier Yarn episode. It's Premier Yarn Deborah Norville Serenity Sock in black, so nothing fancy about that. It is a lot lighter than the Petaboo. I don't know. Yeah, you can see a little bit. The Petaboo is definitely a heavier yarn. Ooh, that's pulling it out, sorry. But I think that's okay for toes and heels. I think those are the places where I'm going to have more wear, so it'll be okay that those are a little bit thicker. And then here's the other one started. I've got about 25 rows of the foot done. I've got the toe done and 25 rows of the foot. It is living in this nifty little thing. This is my first DPN cozy, and I'm super excited about it. This was actually part of the goodie bag from Into the Wool, and it's from Whimsy Stitches. There's his little logo, and I'm loving it. I think I talked about this a little bit in the clip that I showed you earlier, but I love it. So yes, I'm on the second sock, so I should be finishing up this one, I don't know, eventually. They've been on the needles for over a month, so I'm not going to even try to make any estimates about when it'll get done, but I'm working on it. So there's that one. The other thing that I made some progress on is my Harvest cardigan. This is the one that I'm doing with my knitting group. I try not to make it fall apart here. So this I'm doing in Malabrigo Rios in the color Teal Feather. And it doesn't look like I'm all that much further than I was last time, but I am a little bit further down the back. I am, I believe, 1 row away from splitting for the sleeves. So what I'm probably going to do is one evening this week, do that last row, separate for the sleeves, and then put it back in the bag that it's traveling around in. It is a Twist Fiber Studio bag, little camping themed bag. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to work on this Harvest cardigan only on Fridays, not just at knit night, but I'm trying to keep it a mostly knit night project because I'm doing it with my knit night group. And I tend to be a pretty fast knitter, and I think that if I were monogamous-ish on this and worked on it a lot more at home, I would get done really quickly. And I kind of want to stay relatively near where a lot of the other people are, so that we're all doing it together, so that when we come across something weird, we can talk about it together, and it's not like my sweater's sitting there done already and I don't remember which section it is that they're talking about. So I think by not letting myself spend all my time working on this, I will keep closer to the point where some of the other folks are. Although now that I think about it, some of them are just whipping along. When I was there, I wasn't there this past week, but the week before. So I may change that tune, but for now, this is what I'm working on Fridays, and that actually makes it kind of easy to decide what I want to take with me when I go to knit night. So there we go. So let's talk about the retreat. So this was the Into the Wool Fiber Retreat. There's a group on Ravelry, and there's also an Instagram account, Into the Wool Fiber Retreat, if you want to check out what it was. Basically, we got there Thursday evening and left Sunday morning, and it's a retreat. It's not just getting together at a hotel and hanging out. This is a campsite. You drive in, you unload your stuff into a cabin, you park your car, and that's it. Most of us don't leave for the majority of the weekend. I mean, you can. There's a town that it's right on the edge of, so you can go to the Walmart to pick up stuff. You could stop at the liquor store if that's your jam. There's a yarn shop that you can go in and visit. But most people show up, park, and stick around the campsite and just hang out and knit and spin and crochet and chat. And it's amazing. It is put together by Dana, and Tiffany was working on it with her this year. Dana is Dana of Unwind on Ravelry, and Tiffany is the Project Bag, and they did a great job. It was just a good, relaxing weekend. I'm not going to talk about all the different things I did and all the people that I met, because honestly, there were so many people there, a whole bunch of new ones, and I don't want to hurt any feelings by accidentally forgetting someone, but just know that if you were there, I probably adored you. I can't think of anyone that was there that I didn't like, that I didn't get along with. Everyone was amazing. What I'm going to talk about today is actually the people that helped make this possible. I mean, of course, there's Dana and Tiffany, who did an insane job, but they got so many sponsors, and I want to talk about some of the stuff that I got from the sponsors. I'm not even talking about the vendors. There was a vendor market, and I bought stuff, and that'll be another episode, because honestly, I haven't even unpacked that bag yet. I only got home yesterday afternoon. It's been a long day. Yeah. So that's that. But I'm going to talk about some of the things from the sponsors, because, oh my goodness, you guys, they got so much stuff for us. It was incredible. So I'm going to start off with a few things that I got. Everyone got door prizes, which was awesome. They were great at collecting these. So this was my door prize at the kickoff. It is some Bugbear Woolens High Twist BFL in the color Appetite. Sorry, it was half tucked under, but that is the logo. The Bugbear Woolens is really pretty purples and blues, very much in my color wheelhouse. So that was the first door prize I got. And at the closing ceremonies, I also got a door prize, and this was from Misty Mountain Makers, and it is a custom blended spinning bat. And again, it's these blues and purples, and it's gorgeous. This one is a merino bamboo, border Leicester locks, silk noils, and Firestar. Ooh, the color is called Dark Desire. I've never spun from a bat before, so this is going to be a lot of fun. But big shout out to Misty Mountain Makers for giving a donation. And then we're going to pause so I can grab something else without knocking over the camera. Okay, I'm back. And I got a prize that I had not expected. But I got an extra prize because of the number of NICU noggins I knit. I actually knit the highest number of NICU noggins. And so I got a skein of Wild Happy Color. And this is the authentic base. It's an 80-20 merino nylon blend, superwash, 400 yards, 100 grams, in the color Botox Barbie. I love it. So, oops. Wild Happy Color. And I got a little stitch marker to go along with it. I'm super excited about this. That's going to be fun. And again, it's the blues and purples and pink. It's very much colors that I knit with, so that was fun. Putting things down silently so I don't hit the camera. I also won the grand prize, man. So they do a points thing where you earn points for knit-alongs, for participating in the forums, and for knitting the Nikki Noggins. And I sort of spaced out near the beginning of signups and stuff and totally missed the very first knit-along. Completely missed it. So I thought, whatever. I'm not going to do this for points. I'm just going to do it for fun and to participate, and it'll be fine. And then I got into it, and I was on the boards doing the getting to know you stuff and answering all the questions, and I did the second knit along, the spotlight knit along, and knit all the baby hats, and I ended up getting the grand prize. I'm so excited. And so I'm actually going to show you some of the stuff I got in that, because again, that all comes from sponsors. These were all things that were donated. So these are people that made this retreat happen. And so I want to tell you guys about them because I think they deserve your business. They deserve my business. It was really awesome of them to do this. So the first thing I've got is from Knits for Comfort, and this is her mini pumpkin kit. So it's got the yarns and the fiber fill and a pattern for mini pumpkins, which is going to be so super cute for Halloween. So this is probably going to get cast on fairly soon. I got from Slipped Stitch Studios a super cute, oops, dropping everything, a super cute, they call it a Notions Plus pouch. So it's not quite as big as I normally use for a sock bag, but this is definitely bigger than I normally use for a Notions pouch. And I may actually use it for a sock bag. I could easily hold one of my sock projects, but it's got this cute fabric inside. It's almost a flannel-y outside. It's really soft and I like it. Nice little zipper pull. And I also got a matching needle nook. So it's got the same little snaps as the Needle Cozy from Whimsy Stitches. So you can put your needles in there. It has an extra set, so you can use short DPNs or long DPNs and still have your work captured. And this one is pretty neat. It actually has a little zipper pouch here. So that'd be great for like your darning needle or other little accessories so that it's all tight in there. And they also included these magnetic bookmarks, which are great for patterns. So it opens up and you snap it over your pattern so you can see, you know, your line of instructions there, so that you don't have to worry about highlighter tape or having a separate one of those magnet boards for your patterns. I don't have either of those. So I think this will be nice for when I actually use a paper pattern. Not that I use that a whole lot anymore. Ooh, but that mini pumpkins just came with a paper pattern. So there we go. I believe Tiffany knit the, I don't know what to call it, the bottle sock? The insert for this lovely cup for me. And I love that it's Halloween-y colors. I seem to be getting ready for Halloween these days, but I'm super excited about this. So this is my one-of-a-kind cup, and that's super fun. I got a set of 3 skeins of yarn from Skeiny Dipping. I've never used Skeiny Dipping yarn before, but I've heard about them. I'm really excited. So this is it, the Skeiny Dipping yarn. This is their Alpaca Silk Sport. It's an 80-10 superfine alpaca silk blend. 287 yards, 100 grams. And the color is Elsie, and it is beautiful. It's this really deep, rich, I'm gonna say like a burgundy wine color. I really like it. So I got 3 skeins of that, and I'm doing the math, and I think that might be enough for like a short sleeve sweater for me. And honestly, because of where I live, a short sleeve sweater is going to be good enough for most of the year. So that's super exciting. Trying not to rustle too much. I got this lovely little stitch marker from the Kitchen Counter Crafter from Java Jenny. Oh, this is from Tilting Planet, for the crinkle. It is this adorable stitch marker. Let's see if I can show you. It's a little ball filled with little star sparkles. Isn't that cute? I think it's adorable. So I'm pretty pleased about that. Reach everything. Another stitch marker from, oops, let's see if you can see it, from Riv Creative. I don't know if you can read it without me reflecting over the whole room. It says, create with joy, which is just a great sentiment to have on a stitch marker. There we go. Create with joy. So that's super fun. I have been following Simply Serving HK on not Ravelry, Instagram for quite a while, and I keep looking at her stitch markers and thinking, oh, I really want one. I really want one. Now I have one. Simply Serving Hand Knits. It's a narwhal. It's a glittery narwhal stitch marker. Ah, how cute is that? So that's amazing. And I also got more lollipop yarn. I love lollipop yarn. I love using it for socks. I love using it for other things. So this yarn, oh you guys, teal and blue, teal and blue. These are even more my jam than blue and purple and teal. Just, oh man. And the color is called Teal for Two, and it's their Gripe Space. It's the Superwash Merino Nylon, 410 yards, 100 grams. I love it. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to start working with these. So those sponsors, they're just people who donated stuff because they're awesome. So I'm planning to keep all these folks in mind, not only by using their stuff, but by ordering from them in the future. I love the narwhal. I love the narwhal. And actually, it's really nice that I've got it in person and I can see about what size it is. I mean, you can sort of guess when you're watching pictures on Instagram, but it does make a difference to actually see it in real life. I'm going to pause a second to put away everything so you don't listen to the crinkle again. So that was the stuff that I got as a prize and my door prizes. We all got goodie bags that were full of things. This is the bag. It's a lovely tote bag. And the logo was designed by Julie Face, and she's awesome too. So we all got stuff in those bags, including Tervis tumblers with the logo. If I mention that I have a Tervis problem, this helps. Or doesn't help, as the case may be. Yeah, it helps. I love my Tervises. So here we go. And I actually, I did vinyl cutouts for my roommates of our names, because I remember from last year that everyone had the same cup. And the year before too, everyone had the same cup. And you had to try to come up with a unique way to make sure you know which one was yours. Well, here we go. Name. So anyway, so Dana of Unwind Yarn Company gave us this awesome Without a Paddle yarn in our retreat goodie bags. I got the Honeymoon sock. This is awesome colors. Again, my colors, the blue and the teal. Love it. A bag from the Project Bag, Tiffany. Also adorable. And inside it's got just a plain white lining, but it matches perfectly. Did I say the yarn is called Without a Paddle? It's called Without a Paddle. And we got a pattern from Kino Knits. She's got two coordinating patterns with a paddle and without a paddle. So awesome. Kino is wonderful. I actually helped her out with a photo shoot during the weekend, so keep your eyes open for that. She's got something coming up, and I got a sneak preview, and it's awesome. I love all the pieces, so I'm going to be buying things from her in the near future as soon as they're released. But yeah, can't forget about these sponsors, because yeah, they're awesome. So back to the rest of my babbling. Where was I? Oh, I was talking about the awesomeness. The other thing I got in my prize bag was a pile of coupon codes. But we also got a ton of coupon codes in our goodie bags. So I'm going to talk about the goodie bag ones first. I'm going to show you the business cards that we got from folks who are offering some discount codes. But I'm not going to show you the codes, haha, because I'm smart like that. So the first one is from Otterly Adorable Knits. So that's one of our sponsors. And that stuff is so cute. I went and checked her out, or them out, and yeah, so stinking cute. I found about a million things on the site there that I want. Leading Man Fiber Arts offered a discount code as well. And if you don't know who Leading Men Fiber Arts is, you might have been living under a rock. Steve and Andy have great color sense, and I, again, have a lot of things there that I want to buy. Show Me Yarn, and that is yarn, hand-dyed yarn, beautiful things again. And another dyer, Wandering Wool at wanderingwool.com. So yeah, I feel like I'm just gonna go shopping and buy all the things, but it's okay because I have discount codes, so they don't count, right? They don't add to stash if you get them on sale or from retreat discounts. Yeah. Whatever. My stash is big and it's happy, and I'm knitting like crazy and knitting through it anyway, so I'm not worried. And this totally helps. So we got a boatload of coupon codes, and I actually sat down last night after I got home and I downloaded a lot of patterns, and I'm going to show them to you because I think that you should go out and support these designers who gave us these generous offers. It's amazing that people will do this. People are awesome, guys, and designers are awesome. I haven't met anyone in the fiber community who isn't awesome, at least in some way, shape, or form. But these people donated stuff, and it's amazing. So the first thing that I downloaded was, let's see if I can do this well, Typhoon by Josh Ricks. See if I do it that way, it should work. I like this. It's a shawl that lets you use self-striping yarn, which is nice because I have a lot of self-striping yarn. A lot. And sometimes it's hard to figure out anything besides socks to do with it. Now, don't get me wrong. I love self-striping socks. But every once in a while, you get a yarn that's just too pretty to use for socks. And so I'm excited to use this. The next one I got was from Isabel Kramer. And this one I had a hard time deciding what I wanted to get from her store. But I ended up getting Poolside, which is a knit sweater, a pullover, and it looks really comfy. It's DK, so it's not going to be super heavy. And again, that's something that I have to think about a lot because where I am is fairly warm. And, you know, a worsted weight sweater, while awesome, is not always going to be the best choice for me. Next up is Jennifer Lassonde with her World of Difference pattern. This is one of the few Jennifer Lassonde patterns that I didn't already own, actually. I'm a big fan of hers. And so it's great to have this. I'm super excited to be able to be knitting this because all my yarn, well, not all of it, but most of my yarn is fingering weight. So this is going to be a great one. Heidi May also donated a pattern code. Guys, it was so hard to choose just one of her patterns. They are so stinking cute, and the way she styles them. So I ended up going with the unicorn hood because honestly, my nieces will love it and it's going to be an excellent choice for them. But I mean, look at those pictures. They're all of her pictures for all of her patterns are gorgeous like this. It's just amazing. So that was a really hard one to make a choice because they're all so beautiful looking. It was a hard choice. The next one, oops, iPad's not cooperating. Here we go. The next one is the Sam's Mitts pattern donated by Daniela Richardson. That's Caffeinated Gert. She's got Caffeinated Crafting Podcast. Oh gosh, that is her, right? If I'm wrong, someone will tell me, but I'm pretty sure that is Caffeinated Gert. And yeah, I'm not wearing them today because honestly, I took them off earlier and forgot to put them back on, but I usually wear hand warmers or fingerless mitts. And so this pattern, totally getting knit up. That is absolutely something that I can use on a regular basis. So I'm excited about that. Here we go. Kay Hopkins donated patterns and I chose Crater Lake. It's a cardigan. It's a very tailored cardigan, which is nice. I don't know that I have any cardigans that have those sorts of lines down them. See if I can blow that up a little so you can see. I think that looks really, really fancy. Like way fancier than I normally go with cardigans. But why not? You know, I don't have to just stick to something super simple. I mean, I love the simplicity of the Easier All Year cardigan. Oh, and Tig Hilliard is also one of the sponsors. I just didn't end up with one of her coupon codes, but honestly, you guys have heard me talk about her so much that I figure it doesn't hurt not to be showing off extra patterns. But point being that while I love something simple like that, I think it would be good to also have something more tailored and more complex in my wardrobe as well. So yeah, there's that. Let's see. And Emma Welford also donated a coupon code. And I ended up getting actually a pattern that I'd been looking at off and on through the entire Spotlight knit along, contemplating it. I looked at it several times. It was already sitting in my favorite. It is the Hollaback tank. It's a very basic looking tank on the front, but the back has this really cool lace pattern. I'm not sure that I am at a place in my life where I would wear a lace back tank top generally, but I would love to knit it. I think it is gorgeous, and I decided I'm gonna get it anyway, and I'm gonna knit it, and I'm gonna wear it, even if I just wear it to knitting retreats, because it's pretty. Oh, there we go. There is a picture of it modeled over top of a shirt. So, you know, I don't have to wear it as just a tank top. I can wear it as like a sweater vest. And that's probably more appropriate for my lifestyle because, you know, old lady and all. I'm not that old, but I'm also not 20 anymore. So you ever hit that point where you realize that some of the things that you used to wear just don't feel age appropriate anymore? But anyway, I think that's a beautiful top, and I will probably end up wearing it over top of a long sleeve shirt, and that's fine because why not? And actually, I think that's probably the better way to go because if I knit it in a light or bright colored yarn and wear it over one of my many black long sleeve shirts, that lace is just gonna pop because you're gonna have the black background and it's gonna be gorgeous. So anyway, I'm super excited about that. We also had sponsorships from Stephen West, and I chose his Rising Dawn pattern. So Stephen West has been one of those that's kind of hit or miss for me. He'll release a pattern and I'll either really like it or look at it go, huh, well, that's good for him. But this is one that I really liked, and it was actually one of the others that was sitting in my favorites, so that's kind of cool. That's one of the great things about the sponsors and the Spotlight Knit Along is that these folks, because they're sponsors, for the Spotlight Knit Along, you get points for knitting with sponsor products, whether it's yarn, spinning fiber, notions, bags, or patterns. So you spend a lot of time going through all these people's patterns, and it was great. I think the last one, the second last one, was a pattern from Casapinka. I chose the One and Done because I have so many variegated skeins of yarn. I think that this is going to be absolutely beautiful with some of these. I've got a lot of Into the World Fiber Club, and it's highly variegated, and I really like the way that this breaks up the variegation, but without making it like too crazy and pooling and stuff. And then the last one that I got in my goodie bag was from Corinne Walcher. And I went with fingerless gloves again because, yeah, that's what I like to wear and knit. So I'm going to knit. I'm not even going to say the name of them, but you can see it there. But yeah, I'm excited about these. So that was what I got in my goodie bag. And that was awesome. So everyone who came got this little ring. I'm making sure I've got everything covered up so you can't see. But it's just a thing of cards full of codes because the sponsors are just amazing. So, as I knock my iPad over, sorry. But good job, sponsors. You rock. And then I got some extra ones in the grand prize bag. And I'm not going to talk about all of them because it's a lot. But I did get a pattern from Karen McCall. I got a pattern from This Bird Knits. Actually, you know what? I'll show you these because why not? So from Karen McCall, I got the Alluvial Plains, and it is a shawl. From This Bird Knits, I got Siggy, which is a sweater pattern. I seem to be in a sweater place lately, so that's kind of cool. From Lisa Ross, I got Palette, and Lisa was actually one of my roommates, and she is so cool. Lisa and Stephanie Lotvin, who was also a designer, and I think she was also a sponsor. I just didn't get any of her codes in my stuff, but they were both my roommates, and they were super cool, so funny, really friendly. We all got along really well in the room, and yeah, they're just great people. But I'm super excited about having this pattern to knit. And Stephanie also gifted me a pattern as well, and Lisa gifted me a set of her sock patterns too. So yeah, we had a lot of fun in our room. It was very cool. I also so in the grand prize bag there were 3 or 4 codes for ebooks, which is super exciting. So the first one I got was Manukau Harbor by Kelly Van Niekerk, and she's the same one, the designer that did the newborn vertebrae, the baby vertebrae, and the mama vertebrae. And I've knit the newborn, and you just saw my baby vertebrae. So I'm really excited about being able to knit some of these. I really like her shawls, especially the ones that are sort of gradient, because I have some gradient yarn over there that I was staring at the other day, and now I know what I'm going to do with it. So that's fun. I also got, oh, this one excites me, by Claire Devine. I got the tea collection. Ah! So it's all these hats. And, oh, a cowl too. But look at these hats. I love it. So I'm going to be knitting some hats, I think. And that's just going to be awesome. And last but certainly not least, I got Island by Jane Richmond. And that's all beautiful stuff. So beautiful. I really like her aesthetic. So, oh my goodness, that was a really long section. But those were patterns that I got from these awesome sponsors. Like I said, that doesn't even include the ones that I knit for the Spotlight Knit Along. There's a ton of patterns in my favorites right now because these guys are awesome. The sponsors are awesome people and beautiful designers. Like, I love their work. So if you have a chance and you want to go poking around my Ravelry profile, I think you can look at other people's favorites. Go check out some of my favorites. I've got a bundle of Into the Wool 2017 designers. Go check them out. Look at some of these beautiful things they've made. And they are awesome people. So if you're thinking about buying a pattern, go buy a pattern from one of these awesome people. Not that the other designers out there aren't awesome, but these guys are really cool. Yeah, honestly, a lot of them still have other patterns in my favorites. So over the next few months, as I'm knitting through my current stash and things that I picked up in Into the Wool, the sponsors are going to be getting preference from me when I'm looking for a new pattern. And yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to talk to you about these guys because they are awesome. They are really, really cool people for doing this. And like I said, several of them were at the retreat. Stephanie and Lisa. Daniela wasn't there this year, but she was there last year? No, the year before. I don't know. I met her at one of the Into the Wools that I went to. And suddenly I can't remember if any of these other designers were there. I'm blanking. You'll notice that I haven't talked a whole lot about people that I met. And I think I mentioned this earlier. I talked about Dana and Tiffany because they ran the thing and they're amazing. And Stephanie and Lisa because they were some of my roommates. And also Lindsay and Carol were my roommates. Hi guys. And yeah, we had a lot of fun in our cabin. Despite having some late night people and some early morning people, it all worked seamlessly. We were fine. It was great. I am really, really good with faces and really, really, really bad with names, like really bad. Before we went to the retreat itself, we drove up and got there early. So we went to the yarn shop. And while we were there, ran into two knitters. And I remembered their faces and I gave them big hugs and I knew they were my Into the Wool people and I loved them. And I felt so bad that it took me more than a few seconds to remember names. I'm so sorry, Vicky and Pat. I promise, I knew who you were. I just couldn't tell you your names. I'm sorry. But that is, unfortunately, just the way I am. I remember faces. I remember details about people. Sometimes I just remember that I like you. And hey, for me, that's good enough, but I'm really sorry. I hope I didn't offend anyone by not remembering your name or by calling you the wrong name. There was one of the women there and I kept calling her by her daughter's name. I felt like an idiot every time Oops. But I had a blast, and I met some great people and ran into people that I knew from before. And yeah, if you're looking for a first time retreat, heck, if you're looking for any retreat, this is great. But if you're someone who's never been on a retreat before, never been to a knitting retreat, and you don't want something super high stress, you don't want something super scheduled, this is the one, man. We had some skill sharing sessions where attendees ran the session and did little classes. We had a brioche one, and I went to heel one for socks. Dawn, who was amazing, she's Lucy Dawn on Ravelry, she ran some yoga classes, which was great. We had a vendor market, and I'll talk about those guys next episode when I've got more stuff unpacked and not in crinkly bags. And they were awesome. We had 2 market days. We had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So these things were all on the schedule, but nothing was required. It wasn't one of those retreats where you pay money per class and go to all these classes. It's very relaxed. If you're someone who loves a schedule and loves having places to be at certain times, this is probably not the retreat for you. But yeah, I felt so refreshed afterwards. It was a long weekend. It was late nights, but it was fun late nights. You know, it was late nights hanging out with friends. We just stayed up and talked way later. I can feel it in my voice still that I'm a little growly because I talked so much this weekend. I don't normally have that much to say, relatively speaking. You know, most weekends it's me and Jim and the dogs hanging out. Sometimes we'll go out with friends, but this one, we all talked all weekend, and it was great. We had a karaoke session. That was so much fun. Yeah, it was just a cool night. Well, the whole weekend was cool. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. I was torn about how much to say about the retreat because, and this is very selfish of me, and I admit that freely, I think that everyone should go because it's amazing, but I think you shouldn't sign up until after I've signed up and have my spot guaranteed because I really want to go again. Yeah, I want to go back. So I think that's all I'm going to say about the retreat now. You've seen my whips, you've seen my FOs, you've seen all these patterns that I'm going to be working on in the next few months. Oh, and if you check out my Ravelry page, I don't know if you tend to look at other people's Ravelry stuff. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But we had a session on Ravelry tips and tricks, and I'm going to be reorganizing all my stuff, man. So much is going to be changing so that I can find things better, moving stuff around, fixing my wish lists, all that stuff. And I'm not really sure how much other people can see of my Ravelry stuff. I think you can see like the tabs across the top of my projects page. Anyway, if you go looking at my Ravelry stuff, you may notice in the next few weeks or months, suddenly it looks way more crazy organized. And that's okay, because it's going to make life so much easier. It's going to make Ravelry much easier to use. So I think I'll end with showing you my nails. I have little sheepies. Let's see if I can hide my face so that it shows. It's not going to want to focus very well, so let's look at my face. But I have a little sheep and some dots. It's all OPI nail polish. I'll include the colors in the notes because I totally forgot to bring the nail polish in here with me. I put it away already. But yeah, I did that this morning because I was missing my knitters already. So I have sheep on my fingers so that I can look down and go, aw, knit. All right, now I'm just babbling. You guys take care, and I'll talk to you in about 2 weeks. Happy knitting.
shoot video here.